Hey guys, welcome to the next video on Python tutorial for beginners. In this video, we are going to see how to use for loops in Python. So first of all, what are for loops? So a for loop is used to iterate over a sequence, and that sequence can be a list or a tuple or a dictionary or a set or a string. So for that, I'm going to declare some variables, and the first variable is A, which is a list. Second variable is B, which is a tuple. Third is C, which is a set. Fourth is a string. And fifth variable is E, which is a dictionary. Now, before seeing the syntax of for loop, I'm going to show you how to use in operator in Python because it's used in for loop. So I'm going to first of all use print, and then I'm going to use 0 and then use in operator, and then I'm going to use this first variable, which is A, which is a list, right? And let's see what happens when I try to run this code. So it prints true. So in operator will give you true or false depending upon whether this value is present in your sequence or not. So for example, when I write 100 here, which is not present in the list, it's going to return us false. So this you can use with the tuple also. Let me just use it with tuple, and let's use 1 here, and I'm going to run the program, and it prints true once again. Also we can use in operator with strings, so I can write D here, but for that I need to convert this 1 into a string. So now when I run the code, it will give me true. Now let's see how to use a for loop in Python. So for loop, as I said, we can use with some sequence. So let's use it with A, which is a list. So I can write X in A, and A is a list in this case, and then I can just print the value of X, and let's see what happens first of all when we just write this kind of a for loop. So we are going to run the program, and what it does is it prints the values from 0 to 5, which is the element present inside the list. So for loop is going to iterate over your list one by one, and this in operator is going to check whether this value is there in your sequence or not, in this case in our list or not. So first of all, when for loop start, it will transfer the first value, which is 0, into X, and then it checks whether X is in this list A or not, and then it's going to print the value of X, which is 0. And once again program sequence goes here, and once again the next value is transferred to X, which is 1, and once again this condition is validated if 1 is in this list A or not, and then the value of X is printed, which is 1. And this iteration goes on and on until 5 is reached, which is the last value in the list. So 5 is printed, and after that there is nothing inside X, and then the program flow comes out of this loop. You can also use this for loop with the tuple also. So let's try it with tuple, and let's see what happens. And it's going to print the same values. Also with the set, let's see what happens. So I'm going to run the program once again, and it prints 0 to 5 once again because these are the content of the set also. Once again, let's try to use this for loop with the string, and let's see what happens. And it's going to print out the content of this string, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it prints them one by one. Now with the dictionary, we use this for loop in a little bit different way. So for example, I will write the variable name, which is a dictionary, and then let's say I want to just print all the keys inside this dictionary. Then I can write e.keys, and then we have all the keys using this function, and when I run the code, it's going to print all the keys inside your dictionary. Also, when you use the function called dot values, it's going to print out all the values inside your dictionary. You can see max and the age 20. Now let's say you want to print out all the key value pairs which are there in your dictionary. You can use a function called items, and this is going to give you keys and values, right? So I can just write key comma, value here, and then I can print the value of key. First of all, key, and let's provide some space here, and then let's print out the variable value here. Okay, and when I run the code, it's going to give you first of all key and then the value, once again key and then the value. So in order to print out the keys and values from a dictionary, you can use this kind of notation. Now you can also use a function called range. So let me show you how to use this function, which is range, which returns us the values starting from 0. So there is a function called range here, and in here you can provide a number, and this range is going to return the number starting from 0 to 5. So whatever number you write here, the range will be returned from 0 until that number except whatever number you write here. Okay, so let me just try to print out the values which is there in the X, and when I try to print this, it's going to return me from 0 to 5, and you can see here 6 is not printed because the range will give us the value except that value which you write here. You can also provide the start value here. So let's say I want to start from 2 and I want to go until 5. I can write something like this, and now you can see now it start printing from 2 to 5. Also you can give a third parameter here, which is a step parameter. So I can give 3 here, for example, and let's say I want to write 30 here, and let's run the code. And now what is going to return is it starts from 2 because we have given the start value 2 here, and it's going to go until 29 because we have given 30 value here, right? And this is the step. So every third value will be printed after 2 here. So 5 will be printed, then 8, then 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, 26 and 29. Every third value, right? If you write here 2, then we will increment in the step of 2. So this is how you can use range function with your for loop. Also, as I said in the last video, you can use else statement with your loops. So I can also write else here, and then after the colon in the next line I can print something, or I can execute some statement. So for now I will just print finished, and then I'm going to run the code, and once the loop is finished, you can see this else statement is executed, which prints finished. So else statement will be executed once your for loop is finished. So in this way you can use for loops in Python. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.